And the other thing that's really important, and you'll learn that, like, I learned this doing production because I was working with some of the best people in the business, and so they were teaching me how to fit. And I know we talked about this a little bit earlier. When you're working on a show, the body intelligence is what I call it, is so, so important. And the body intelligence is also really important that you watch them while they're walking, because that's how they're gonna be for the most part. So camel toes, unacceptable. I mean, it's the kind of thing where it's like, when it happens, you're just like, and you kind of saying to the designer, and it's the same situation you're in the shoot when something doesn't look good, and you have to like gently tell them, like, the fit is not gonna work. Or usually what I say is like, I'm worried that we're gonna get critiqued on this fit, and here's why. And usually that kind of handles like not hurting their feelings, because it's not personal. It's like, you want their show to get reviewed well. You don't want the buyers in the front row going like, oh crap, they don't know how to fit a pant. You know, that's what the buyers are really looking at, is fit. I mean, I think that's from the couple of conversations I had with buyers and designers who do really well. That's a lot of where the success is. So as a stylist, like, we have to learn what is a good fit and what's a bad fit. And then we also need to know there's so many small, you know, like certain gentlemen have certain breaks in trousers. So it's like, what is the etiquette on breaks? When I was doing a menswear show, it's like, what is the etiquette on a pocket square? You know, it's like all this kind of intelligence, like simple things. I can't believe a lot of these people don't know it. A break, it's like when the pant hits, I have leggings on. Yeah, you know, like, yeah, exactly. It's like how long it is where it hits the ground. I mean, my pet peeve in the whole wide world is when a girl has on heels and any kind of flared or like more wide leg pant, and that's hovering, like that much. It's just like, it makes me like, like freak out. And as I've been working with some of these mass market people, they'll like put it on, they're like, oh, the fit's great. And I'm like, there's that much room between the floor and her jean, like not on purpose. Like she's in the heels, like it's not, I was like, we make it shorter or we make it longer. And they're just like, it's not missing, you know, it's missing for them. But I'm also, I know what that means to the leg. You know, I know that that's like shortening, it's like people aren't gonna buy it. Like you're gonna put that picture up in your store and people aren't gonna buy it. So the body intelligence and the fit intelligence is like super duper important when you're doing a show. Because, I mean, if you're making, it's like, it's even harder when you have supermodels, because it's like, if you can make a supermodel look bad, you're in trouble. Like really big trouble, you know, because they've got pretty much perfect bodies. And a lot of the models have good bodies. And also the other thing with models is learning bodies. You learn bodies, and it's so weird, but you learn bodies and fits so quick. And you have to be able to look and say, okay, this is not the girl for this dress, because she's a little bit short-waisted, and they're perfect, right? They're totally perfect. But they're short-waisted, they're long-waisted, they have long arms, they have short arms, they have thick waists, and they have really small waists with bigger hips. And so you have to kind of start to look and say, okay, this girl has this body, what outfits are gonna really look amazing on her? Plus whatever her look is. So it's the puzzle, right? It's like back to like, you're putting together this big puzzle of like, not only do you choose all these looks in what order you want them to go in, then you like choose all these girls, and then you have to make the two work together, which is a really fun thing called rotation. we call it rotation when you choose which girl goes in what. So as part of the process, I'll go through the process really quick because I know we're running out of time. So yeah, designers and their teams learn from what a stylist does. So the awesome thing I mean, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, you know, if any of you guys, I know my friend's in the back, Victor, who's a designer. Stylists also help with like lots of background. Stylists help designers learn how to be better at everything we do. So they learn how to design better. You know, and I started working with one design team here in New York, and they had never worked with a stylist before. And their design process completely changed after I came in. Because I was like, well, this is how, you know, I was like, this is how we do it. And I'm like, we don't have to do it exactly like everybody else does it, but like, I was doing the inspiration, we were going through I was like, we need fittings, we need to do this, we're gonna edit that, we're gonna let's look at sketches, let's look at fabric. And they just started, because they didn't know anything about story. So I started to teach them about story, and they were like, oh, okay. And it made it so much easier the next season. Because it wasn't like I was walking into like a freaking battlefield. I was walking into like people, they were like, okay, here's a story. And I was like, thank God, they learned, you know, and it's really valuable, I think, for design teams. I've had that feedback from people that learning to do those kind of, like, the storytelling thing is so helpful. Because then they have a narrative, like, once you pick, like, oh, we're Korean not filled. And we can change it. We can decide, like, oh, that's totally crap. We, you know, forget her. Let's do Emmanuel Alt, you know, and we can change our choice just like that because we're making it up. But until they have at least some story to move with, they can't move at all. They're just designing a whole bunch of stuff that doesn't make sense together. So that's like one of the really valuable things we bring in is teaching them how to make, you know, what's your voice, what's your story.